Hello. How is everybody doing? Welcome to another video here with FlyDeNoob. And today we're taking the F35b. That is the short takeoff and vertical landing variant of the F35 Lightning by IndiaFoxTecho on a little spin around the Himalayas. So we are in a very familiar airport to a lot of flight simmers, which is Lukla in Nepal. Particularly dangerous airport to land and take off from, and one that is directly behind Mount Everest pretty much. Mount Everest is just a click away from here basically. So what we're going to do today is attempt to fly this vertical landing, short takeoff and vertical landing variant of the F35. We'll attempt both the vertical takeoff or the STO short takeoff, and we'll attempt the vertical landing as well. So let's see how that goes if we try it in a place like Lukla. Along the way we'll fly among the mountains and peaks surrounding Mount Everest, so it should be a fun little flight. We're here at cold and dark. We'll get this aircraft started up, so let's go ahead and jump into the aircraft here. Okay, here we are. Cockpit doors are open and we're in cold and dark. Let's begin by turning the integrated power packages and what I think that's what they're called, the converter controls and all that stuff. Basically, you've got your systems that provide power, the replacement for APU. We'll power them all on. We'll turn the battery on. And right before we go any further, let's turn this to automatic here. That's going to control our HMD. And as for the MFD, which is the PCD really here, we'll put it to the day mode. We can remove the pin here, arm our ejector seat. That is pretty much it we need to do. Before engine start, we can actually go ahead and close up the canopy there. We'll turn our engines on. We don't need to wait for the screens. We'll just turn them on right here. We'll remove that pin, and we're now just pretty much okay. Before we do, we need to put the engine on run here as well. Forgot about that. Okay, there we go. Now we're just waiting for the engine to start up pretty much. And yeah, there we go. We are probably cooking this particular person here as they walk around left and right of the aircraft for some reason. And there's a fuel truck in our way as well. Okay, we're currently in Flight Sim 2020. I want to point that out. The reason I'm flying this in 2020 is some of the textures around Mount Everest tend to be better in 2020 for me at the moment. I'll also repeat this flight in 2024. Just so we see the differences between the two. But for now, we're in 2020 and the airport as usual, the Star Airport, looks very nice. Buddha Lodge right there, and the sign that tells us Tenzing Hillary Airport, Lukla. Very, very nice. Beautiful. Okay, let's head in. We've got enough fuel for today's journey. We're just waiting for the screens to boot up here, the PCD to boot up here. So I'm just going to see what I can select here. Let me select engines. We will go with our EFI here and wait for these two as well. Okay, engines are looking good right now. Anti-ice is on automatic. My bad. Just wait for these two screens, and once they come to life, we're pretty much ready to get on out of here. Landing taxi lights can actually go to on. Parking brakes can go on for the time being. Okay, over here we can have the FCS and the fuel. And as you can tell, we don't have much fuel today. We'll reach Joker fuel during our flight. Hopefully we won't reach bingo. Even if we do have an option to just quickly go here and refuel if we need to. I'm hoping not to use it, so we can use the vertical landing here. Today we have to be under 40,000 pounds to do that. Okay, we are looking good. Control surfaces all looking good. Perfect. Just make sure that the rudder isn't stuck, and it is. So we need to unstick the rudder like that. Apart from that, we are pretty much ready for takeoff here. Okay. So let's release our parking brake. Open up the throttle slightly, and there we go. Oh, we are stuck here. Oh, I know why. Need to go here to the menu and turn on the nose wheel steering to the automatic mode. Okay, we'll release a parking brake. There we go. Got nose wheel steering. Let's get on out of here. All right. Okay, this marshal right here is getting cooked left, right, and center by our engine. Anyway, there we go. Looking good. Beautiful. Very, very nice. We'll go ahead and get ourselves configured down here first, and then we'll put the parking brakes on right there. Okay, there we go. Parking brakes on, please. Brilliant. We'll go to our short takeoff and vertical mode. So, we will arm auto takeoff here, and then we shall release our parking brakes. Okay. Right before we do, let's get Sky Dolly running for today's flight, and yep, ready for takeoff, ladies and gentlemen. Quick look around. There we go. We are ready for our short takeoff and vertical landing. Look at the level of detail on this model. It's absolutely beautiful. Anyway, heading back in there, releasing parking brake. And the aircraft should now take itself off up until it's ready to disengage from our VTOL. Well, it's technically STOVL, but anyway. There we go. Gear up. And we are in regular flight. Okay. Brilliant. Let's now head down this valley for a second here. Just like that. Don't have much speed on our side at the moment. That's okay. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. We'll turn left here. Throttle 90%. We'll turn left here. This is the B variant, which is not as maneuverable for stunt flying and for terrain hugging. And it's also, I believe, a little cumbersome because of its entire vertical propulsion systems and stuff like that. So it's not the most nimble thing, but we'll see what we can do with it here. Okay, there we go. That is looking lovely. Let's see what we can do with it. Beautiful. Let's turn a hard left here as well, go into the valley. Keep an eye on our speed as we do, because maneuverability diminishes very, very severely. Look at that, looking lovely. It'll be interesting to repeat this exact same flight in 2024. We'll compare the two and see what happens. Anyway, there we go. Perfect. Lovely. Very, very nice. Is 2020 still relevant after 2024? Very much so. Very, very much so. Okay, let's turn here to our right. A hard right. Okay, not too bad. Now let's turn hard to our left. Skirt around the mountains a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's go this way. Gorgeous stuff. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous stuff indeed. Okay. Let's head back in here. That is tight. And we'll go back around without trying to nick anything. There we go. We'll use this gap here. There. Brilliant. And we'll head back down this way. Beautiful. Very nice. Okay, still on 90% throttle here. We're not having to manipulate that too much. Just having a little bit of fun navigating the mountains at the point. Did I just say at the point? I was trying to say at the point and at the moment at the same time, and my brain just short-circuited right there. Anyway, round we go. Round we go. Perfect. We'll come around here. Brilliant. Now it's easy to get lost in these mountains, but luckily for now, I'm not lost. I know exactly where we're headed, and that is straight for Mount Everest, so we can have a look at it. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that's what we're seeing in the distance, but I'm pretty sure it's very close by. I'm not lost just yet. Okay, very nice. We'll take a turn here. We'll head on down here. Perfect, as such. Okay, let me try and... okay, now we'll come up here. There we go. It is not easy to remember this, if you try to. Okay. Now that we are here, we shall go left. Let's go hard left here and see how this goes. Just turn on the menu here. Perfect. Perfection. Okay. There we go. Looking good. And let's make a hard left right here. We'll go down here first and then we'll make a hard left there. We need to make a hard left here. There we go. Another tall peak right near Everest. We'll try and traverse it here. Brilliant. We're bleeding off our speed here. Let me just open up the afterburners for a bit. There we go. This is the valley I've been trying to get into, right ahead of us. Very, very cool. Okay, our speed is rising, 90% throttle. Brilliant. Now we just skirt along till we find Mount Everest, which is straight ahead of us. Which is not too far. There it is. Dead ahead of us is Mount Everest. Okay. So we're going to skirt around here for a second. Have a look at it from a low altitude or hugging the terrain, and then we'll head on up high. Then we'll see how it goes. We got 2,000 pounds still bingo fuel, so we gotta be careful here. Mount Everest, ladies and gentlemen, is up there. We're looking at it right now. Beautiful. We're looking at it right now. Okay. So I'm just gonna open up the throttles. We're gonna have a little flyby of Mount Everest. Let's gain a bit of altitude here. There it is. There it is. Beautiful. We are looking at Mount Everest, ladies and gentlemen. That right there was worth that. Look at that. That view is worth that flight. Look at it. Absolutely gorgeous. That is Mount Everest. Clear as day for us to see. As you can see, it's surrounded by a lot of very, very high peaks. Nonetheless, Everest stands tall there. Looking absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Let's now head back down here, 90% throttle. We don't want to waste all that fuel. Let's go straight down here. To our right, scoot over and take this little valley, and we shall head back to Lukla and try and land our little jet vertically into Lukla, where we took off from. That's not going to be easy. Let's see how it goes. Okay, 630 knots 650. Fuel just 1,300 pounds above bingo. Above bingo, yeah. That is not good, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's not a long way to Lukla now. We are zooming along here. We should be just fine. There we go. Brilliant. It's a nice little escapade in the F35. We do have, let's find out if we get replays. I've left Sky Dolly running, so we'll see if we can get a few replays along the way, at least of Mount Everest from the outside and the landing replay, obviously. But for now, let's focus on heading ourselves back into Lukla. 587 knots. Holding fairly steady. Yes, fairly steady. 90% throttle. Another 300 pounds of fuel down. But luckily we are right here near Lukla. Okay, not at all a long way to go now. 550 knots. Speed fairly stable. Fuel 2.9. 2,900. Okay. Let's now turn hard left because that is where Lukla is going to be. Okay, we gotta be careful of the bleeding of our speed here. 90% throttle, and there's Lukla. There we go, and throttle off again. Let's turn to VTOL mode here. STOVL mode, my bad. There we go. Okay, let's see, can we get this thing lined up? Let's find out. There we go. We're gonna turn on hover mode right about there. There we go. Let's find out. Let's find out whether we'll be able to land it. Okay, there we go. Gear down. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Gear is coming down. Perfect. Zoom in a little bit right there. Gear is down. Looking lovely here. Let's try and land our jet, shall we? We shall drop ourselves down. Let's see. Let us see how we do. Okay. There we go. Just a little bit of external view to help us a little bit. Yep. I just need that view right there. And we should be just fine. Now, when landing, we're gonna switch. What we're gonna do here is gonna get out of hover mode for a second, just so we position ourselves a little better. Gonna go forward a little bit, just like that. Brilliant, just like that. Engage hover mode again. Let's do that one more time here. And a hover mode again. There we go. We'll turn ourselves around here. Okay. Brilliant. I think we should be okay. We should be okay. Let's now ask our aircraft to go down. We gotta keep an eye here on the vertical rate here. I have to go outside here and make sure that we're not gonna crash into anything. Normally I believe there will be people on the ground to guide you, but in our case we don't have anybody. So let's just see how it goes. Okay, let us try that. Let's try that. Okay, are we looking good? Are we too close? No, we're alright. We're alright. Okay, great. We're alright here. Let's bring that jet down nice and easy. Nice and easy. We need to see the vertical speed. We need to make sure that it's very, very low. There we go. Going down gently. Down gently. Down gently. Okay. In case you're wondering what I'm doing to go down, I just push the stick forward. And the aircraft does much of the work. I don't really need to worry about it. Okay, going down. Going down. Going down. Okay. There we go. Brakes on, and welcome back to Lukla, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. We've successfully made our vertical landing into Lukla. Really, really nice. Let's go ahead and turn off our STOVL mode. Let's release our parking brakes. And let's head on into the parking. Right? Let's do that right here. Brilliant. Let's do that right here. Let's open the throttle up just a little bit more to help us make that turn. I want the jet to get away from us, but here we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and park ourselves in the first parking up here. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that right here. Right here. And parking brake. Okay, lovely. There we go. We have made it back into Lukla. We can now go ahead and take a look at our landing replay. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at how we touched down with vertical landing. Okay, here we go. The last minute or so of us landing here. Obviously, we have to be very careful and take our time when we're landing vertically. Although I think I might have taken a little too much time. Could have put her down anyway. But there we go. Nice and gentle and easy. Just like that. That was a great vertical landing. A little too nice and easy if you ask me. But apart from that, that was really good. Okay. Very, very nice. There's a view of us enjoying Mount Everest right there. To our left. That is a beautiful, beautiful view. Very nice. And a beautiful aircraft too. At least from this angle. Very, very nice. That's Mount Everest right there. Beautiful. Okay, lovely little replay there. Just another snippet of our flight as we leave Everest and come back in towards Lukla. The sights are really, really nice. Beautiful little escapade for us here today. I shall soon be flying the F35a variant, performing a conventional terrain hugging stunt flight with that or taking it to a major city. And I'll also be flying the F35c, which is more maneuverable, at least in the sim. So we'll see what we can do with that as well in terms of flying it in a city as a stunt flight. So got those two to look forward to. Anyway, for now, let's jump back into the parking where we left the F35b here today, and let us shut down our aircraft and wrap up today's little video. All right, let's do that right away. Right, here we are back in the aircraft. Let's come over here. We've got fuel critical warnings there and all that stuff we don't need to worry about for the time being. We can just, well, we could press this, which will be the fuel shut-off valve, but let's just go ahead and turn that off. There we go. Wait. Is that turning off the engine? No, it isn't for some reason, huh? It's not doing that for some reason. Interesting. It did do that the last time I tried, so anyway, we can shut it off from here, not a big deal. Wait, hold on, what's going on? Okay, put that there and then let me try. For some reason it's not letting me shut down the engines. I think it's because of the replay that I can't shut down the engines. Yeah, it's pretty much because of the replay.
Fuel critical. Fuel
yeah, it's the... For some reason, it's not letting me shut down the engine. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong here. Okay. Okay, for some reason the engine just won't shut down. Okay. I have no idea what's going on in terms of the engine shutdown, but I'm pretty sure the landing replay has messed with that. I think it's because of this. I think it's because of the throttle. Yeah, it is because of the throttle. My bad. It's not the landing replay, it's because of the throttle. There we go. I did not see that my throttle was advanced. My bad. My bad. The engine's running anymore. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. We don't need to do anything else here, pretty much. Okay, let's turn off the batteries, turn those off as well. And we can do that, and we'll put the pins back in place. We can open up the canopy there. And if we come outside, there we go. All the pins and covers will show themselves, as well as the ladder. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that little flight. Thank you so much for watching the video. The other F35 variants and lots of stunt flights with them are coming up, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed that video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel. That helps me out a lot. It helps me, keeps me motivated to post more content. And thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.